Wow, okay. It's got compression. Welcome to my channel, Corey's Garage. I am Corey. On this channel, I show a lot of different things. Sometimes things look really difficult, and I show that they're not always as difficult as they look. Working on that MOPAR 11 still, and I just want to do a follow-up, and maybe we'll get it running in this video. We'll see. But get the wiring harness all straightened out. I'm sitting upstairs in my garage, sitting in one of the chairs, surrounded by interior parts. Let's dive in. I'll show you what's going on with this harness. As I said, surrounded in interior parts. There's still salt on these seats that I have to clean up. And the pile gets bigger. I've shown some of this before, but just wanted to show it again for reference so you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the other episodes of the series or other videos. So this is the harness. I am done, I believe, with the conversion. So I had the harness. This is the body harness from the car. And the car was flooded, and so the harness was badly corroded. Well, I had a brand new harness from a 2013 Chrysler 300. I don't remember what the options were on that, but I had bought one incorrectly and just kept it, thinking I'd do something with it eventually. Well, eventually has happened, and now I have done something with it. Problem was, the harness was not identical. So there were some different connectors. This connector here, which I have since discovered is mostly just speaker wires, consisted of essentially these connectors. And so obviously that's not going to work. The 300 had a bunch of extra stuff in it that the charger does not have. So I do have some extra wires that go nowhere. There's a few of those. I just got to tape all this up. I am essentially done. So I had to convert some wires there. And then at the other end, by the fuse panel, fuse box, the whole rear of the car on a 300 is different than a Charger. And so luckily none of these connectors were bad. None of them got corroded or anything. And so I had to change the whole rear section of the car. And like, again, there are some wires that are not used. I know that seems crazy or scary, but it's not as bad as you think. And then this is the old harness. You can see how badly corroded the fuse box and everything was. And so I didn't really have a choice. I had to do something. And you can't get this harness for the MOPAR 11. At least you can't. They're discontinued, brand new. Finding a used one turned out to be a nightmare as well. There's more changes than that, but not significant. Mostly just the front and the back. Like one little connector in the middle I had to change. I bought a harness on eBay for a 2012 Dodge Charger, thinking, hey, that's got to be closer than the 300 I have. They wanted $300 for it. I offered $200. They took it. They actually sent me the wrong one. I had ordered, the one I had picked out was for it was actually for a V6 Charger, but I figured it might be closer than the 300. They sent me one for a 2012 Super B. And I was like, oh, sweet. That's probably going to be like the exact same harness. It should be very close. It's not. It was actually, the rear end looked like it was all the same. So the rear coming out of the fuse box. But then there were other differences throughout, and it wasn't going to be any easier to work on than the 300 harness, and the 300 harness is brand new. So it made sense that if I was going to continue chopping into one, because I'd already cut into this one, to use a brand new harness than a used one. So that's where I'm at. So now I have if anybody wants a complete body harness for a 2012 Super B, let me know. At least that's what the tag says on it. I think it was that as a Super B. But it is a 876 AD. Yeah, let me know. 200 bucks, you can have it. So I'm just gonna do some taping on some of this just to, you know, make it nice and neat again. Drag it down and throw it in the car. See what happens. And a very exciting part of the whole project here. The harness is like 90% installed. There's like center consoles not all installed. Just a couple little things, but for the most part, it's in. I've had the battery connected and the center console does light up and it says that there's no key. I didn't get a key with this car. I have a new one. I am gonna see if I can program that right now. I'm not gonna try to start the car yet. Plugs are all out of it. We'll go over that soon, but let's see if we can program this key and see what works and what does not. So I was pretty excited just to see the center console light up. And I didn't want to leave too much of this out. I want you guys to get a chance to see some of this. So if I hit the button here, it says, you know, press brake button to start, key not detected. It is in the off position. I have alpha OBD here. I'm going to connect to the radio frequency hub. Try to, at least. Select control model unit first. Oh. Try again to connect. Connected. Woohoo! All right, we'll go into advanced diagnostics. We'll go and we'll see if we can read the pin from this car. We got the pin. All right. Now, we'll program ignition phobics. Enter the pin. All right, it failed. Just gonna put the camera down for a minute while I see if I can figure this out. I managed to get the key programming to work. So I don't know for sure, but I think it was the center console had to be plugged in. There's this little module right here, and the instructions tell you to keep the key near the center console, but I figured it's probably nothing there. Well, without this plugged in, it would not work. I also changed this module. This came on that harness that I can't use. But yeah, I plugged this in, programmed it again, and I was like, it says completed. And I was able to get the car into run. So that's freaking super exciting. So also, I had to unplug the stereo. It started smoking. So I'm gonna have to probably get a new one of those. But yeah, like you can see the door lights on down there. It's coming alive. This is awesome. So I'm hoping to get it running pretty soon. So this may be a bad idea. I've decided I want to try to spin the engine over. The plugs are all out of it. There was a cylinder that was a little bit crusty. This one here. And I put like a bunch of transmission fluid in there and some PB Blaster, and I've sprayed a little bit of PB Blaster in each cylinder. Nothing really looked all that bad except for that one cylinder was a little bit crusty. I have never spun this engine over. I was going to try to pump the fluid out of that if there is anything still in it, but I'm just going to push the button and see what happens. Fuel pump relay is out of it just so I don't dump fuel in it. I know this is probably going to fill the catalytic converter full, but hey, let's see if it actually tries to turn over. So, put my foot on the brake. Doesn't seem to be trying to do anything. It's speaking to me in German, but... So I did just have the engine turning by hand, and my hand is not happy about it. Hand slipped the ratchet. So it goes to a certain point, and then it kind of wants to stop. But I only had like a 1/2-inch drive ratchet on it, not a breaker bar. So I backed it off a little bit. Now I just want to see, does the engine actually turn at least to that point? Or is there something electrical stopping it from trying to turn? Yeah, so the engine isn't, the starter's not even engaging. Got the starter out of the car. Here. You can see, you know, it's been underwater. It's still a little wet. One thing I didn't say is that there's no water in the oil of the engine for anybody that might have been freaking out, thinking I was going to try to spin over the engine with oil, with water in it. That's not the case. So, just going to see if I can get this to free up. I kind of doubt that it's actually bad. I think it's just kind of seized up. Did just get it to move a little. So definitely went out a little bit and came back. See, I got it out quite a bit here. I don't mind putting a new starter in it. I just don't happen to have one right here, right now. And I'm a little bit anxious to hear this engine turn over, if possible. So I got the starter hooked up to these jumper cables here, and I'm pretty sure I'm just going to need a new one. It tries, kind of, but it's just not going to work out. And jump the solenoid here. I could probably get it to free up, but it's probably going to be weak even if I did. It's just not worth it. Starters are cheap. I'll see if I have one kicking around somewhere, or I'll ask my dad if he's got one. He might have one kicking around, and if not, I'll buy a brand new one because it's not a big deal. So able to pick up a brand new starter. AutoZone had one in stock. I don't know if it's really brand new or if it's refurbished. I don't really care, but this should work. So I'm just gonna throw this in the car and see what happens. New starter is installed. Battery's connected. I probably should have tried turning this over more by hand first, but yeah, we'll see what it does. I don't know if it's even going to make a full revolution. Like I said, it was a little bit hanging up towards the top. Well, that's good. That's really good. You can see all my fluid came out. That's yeah, that's beautiful. It sprayed literally. Wow, okay. It's got compression. I knew I should have pumped that stuff out of there. What a mess. I'm gonna try it again. This time we'll go out there and have a look. Glad I wasn't standing in front of it. that one cylinder that had all the fluid in it, that sounds funny. It might just be that there's still fluid in there. I wonder if I should take the air hose to it and see if I can spray that out, but I can't believe the mess I made. That's bad. Now I've got to get it running so I can get it out of here and get a hose on it. But I'm going to spin it over a few more times, and then I may throw some plugs in there and see what happens. But that cylinder, man, that cylinder sounds kind of funny. But it could just be, like I said, it might still have a bunch of fluid in there. So getting ready to turn it over with plugs in it. I put the old plugs in for now because they might just get fouled anyways, and they really didn't look that bad. But I have brand new plugs ready to go in it. Gonna leave the fuel pump relay out of it. I don't want it to actually start yet. Another thing just to point out that if it does start, when I put the relay back, it's gonna be loud because somebody cut the exhaust behind the catalytic converter. Can't remember on which side. When I'm underneath the car, everything's reversed, so it's weird. But which worried me because I don't know, did they do that because they were messing with it and they were trying to get water out of the exhaust, or was somebody trying to steal the cat? Hopefully somebody was just trying to steal the cat. But so let's see what it sounds like with compression. That kind of sounded like it was trying to start.
Yes.
Which is weird.
No, this goes right here, I think, right?
Yeah. All right, we're gonna give it fuel.
Give it fuel twice. Oh, you can't with this. Oh, yeah, you can.
What do you mean?
Turn the key on.
Oh.
Let the fuel pump run. Shut it off, then turn the key on.
It's run a few times already.
Oh, okay.
Let's just see what happens. Holy crap, it starts.
Unbelievable.
Woohoo! A little smoky, not bad. Sounded good. I didn't hear any ticks, knocks, nothing.
Sounded real good.
You want to go push the button?
You want to hear it again?
Yeah, from out here.
Does the door have to be shut?
No. But you have to put your foot on the brake.
The lights and everything come right on, too.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, you heard it. I have a running MOPAR 11. The harness looks like it's all going to work out. Everything's good. Engine sounds fantastic. I'm going to drain the oil, change it. I have an oil change ready to go. I've got to check the rear diff. That's probably got water in it. The transmission, the vent is up high, so it probably is okay, but I'll check it out. And then after I let it run for a while, I'll throw in the new plugs. But aside from that, I got to put the interior all back in. I got to clean it all up. I got to take care of, like, you know, just some bare metal that got a little rusty. Door panels still have to come off. I do have at least one window that works. So we'll see how things go, but that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm super excited that, you know, I got a good engine and that the harness worked out. That was a nightmare. I don't recommend you do that, but you can do it. Thanks for watching. Tune in for the next one.